chapter 38, verse 13. Vayugado Tamar Lemor. I was told to Tamar saying, and we did this. Your father went up to Timnah. And Rashi, we said yesterday, said your father went up to Timnah to shear his sheep. And we said yesterday, well, by Samson says he went down. So Timnah was on a hill. Sometimes he went up to it, sometimes he went down. Okay, fine. So then it says, Vatasar big day Amanusa, and she removed her widow's garments from on top of her. If she covered herself in a veil, and she wrapped herself. She sat at the entrance at the crossroads that was on the path to Timnah. Because she saw that the third brother, Shelah, was now older. He won't know Elisha. She was supposed to be given to him as a wife, but it hadn't happened because because of the fact that Judah thought Tamar was the reason why his first two sons had died. But what I spoke about at 12:30 today was that this is a messianic language for a messianic chapter. For Tamar is eventually going to become the mother of the Messiah, down 10 generations, but we're not bound by time. But this language is messianic. Some of it is even in Lachadodei. She removed the garments of her widowhood. She covered herself in a veil. She sat at the crossroads, but at the crossroads it's called the entrance of the eyes, on the path. And even the word Shelah, she saw that Shelah had grown older, reminds us of the place where the Mishkan is, which is Shiloh. I want to tell you something else, by the way. I'll tell you something about Shiloh. But this is the messianic language. And then I shared at 12:30 today that it says in the Gemara in Sanhedrin 98 that somebody asked Elijah, when will Mashiach come? And Elijah says, go and ask him. And they said, where is he? He said, you know where the Messiah is? The Messiah is sitting at the entrance to Rome, and he's with all the other sick beggars who are sitting at the entrance to Rome. But you could tell who he is because he wraps off his bandages little by little when he replaces them. But the other sick people take them all off at once. But the Messiah is ready to go, so he doesn't want to have all of his bandages unwrapped. But this language is the language. This reminds me of this scene that she's sitting there dressed like a harlot at the entrance to a city. These are people we don't see, we don't recognize, we don't even notice their existence. The beggars, the harlots, and we look through them. They're not the people who are invited to our homes for like the Shabbos meal. These are people we try to, I'm not proud of this, we try to cross the street, we try to stay away from them. And so, but this is the language of the Mashiach. This is the messianic language. Mentioned Shiloh. So God willing, I'm going to go to Israel soon. I mean, a couple of months, because I'm going to spend a week rebuilding the northern city of Kiryat Shmona. I'm going to spend a week with my nephew. He's rebuilding it. I'm going to do that. Anyway, but my father-in-law, his life partner, is from Shiloh. And she said she'll take me to Shiloh. Shiloh is now raising 3 red heifers. Shiloh is it's a settlement, very messianic, that settlement. They're raising 3 red heifers. It's in Samaria, it's in Shomron. So they have 3 red heifers there, and they're under very secure protection because they're worried that the terrorists might try to come after them, and damage them, and they're under lock and key, So anyway, so I'll report back. So Vayirah Yehuda, so Judah sees her, Vayachshavel Lazona, and he thinks she's a harlot, he kista panah. Okay, so wait, so we skipped the Rashi. She covered her face, but Judah shouldn't recognize her. And she sat at the entrance of the crossroads. Rashi says, the parashat drachim shal derachim. She sat at the crossroads. This is a very poetic chapter. Come on in, Ezra, let's go. She sat at the crossroads of Jewish history. And our rabbis expounded the entrance of Bepitcho shall Avram Avinu, the entrance to our tent to Abraham, shall call Einayim mitzapot loroto. All eyes look to see. She was looking for. It was dear to people because of the hospitality there. So she sat at the busiest part. Yes, Jerry.
Yehuda has a wife. Why is he whoring? Why?
No. So what happened was, Jerry, if you see verse 12, we did this yesterday. It says that Judah's wife has just died. So he's got no one to go. He's got no one to keep him warm at night.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's got no one, but he doesn't have a wife anymore. It mentions that he doesn't have a wife.
Thank you.
What? So, okay. So then what? So okay. So then what happened was, so Judah was not giving to her Sheila because she was like a killer wife. She had two husbands who died suddenly. So he then saw she then Elon, beautiful, grab a chumash. So she saw that Vayeishev was on Judah saw her and he assumed she was a harlot because she covered her face. And that's what I was thinking also is when we mentioned this morning that we could be looking at the Mashiach, but we think the Mashiach is a harlot. We think the Mashiach is a beggar. And the Mashiach is in disguise. And when I was doing my shimush with my Rabbi Weiss, he always used to say, the person next to you could be the Mashiach. You don't even know. If you would treat that person with more respect, more dignity, more honor, treat the person as though they're the Mashiach. That's we used to say about Shlomo Karbach that when he died, all the homeless people came to his funeral because he gave all his money away to them. Now, I'm not saying he didn't have flaws as a person. Obviously, a lot has come out after his death. I'm not here to talk about that, but they're saying that he was one of these people who was very close with the homeless people. Okay, so then the verse states, what? Yes.
She didn't know that it was she was knowing that it was wanted to prove that there was doing something that was forbidden. It was to neglect the
Right. So we have to look up the Gemara in Horios 10b discusses this. So she desired to have a child because she sat there to make herself available to Judah and to conceive her sons by him. Because if she just wanted to remind him that he was having a child, that she would have just called out to him. So she wanted to have a child. She desired to have a child from Judah's line. Now, the Gemara discusses the concept of what's called an Avera Lishma. Hello, Greg. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon. It's such a machaya to study with your boys. So beautiful. And, together, this is called the Chut HaMeshulash. The 3-pound cord will not be easily asundered. It says, Chut HaMeshulash Olam Heri Yinasek. You have the 3 Snyder men studying together. It's a Geshmak, bracha. So there is this concept, Ari, that the Gemara in Horios discusses a little bit before 10b, called an Avera Lishma, a sin for the sake of heaven, where under certain circumstances a person commits a sin, but their big picture actions are so noble, so it's considered to be a very precious moment. One of the examples is Yael with Sisera in Judges chapter 4, and also the story of Esther and Mordecai and Achashverosh. These are 2 examples of what the Talmud calls a sin for the sake of heaven. They don't call it this, but she clearly desired to have this child, and it's not clear that it was forbidden. There are all sorts of relationships that became prohibited after Sinai, that at this point it's not clear that they were prohibited.
So Tamar had no qualms about what she had done, as she felt she had fulfilled the spirit of the law of levirate marriage. So that's the kind of engagement.
Well, the levirate marriage, the purpose of the levirate marriage is to have a child from the lineage of your, and to stay in the family, yeah.
She wanted to to do both, not just that baby.
I mean, it's a little bit, Rabbi Shalom's a great man, but how does he know she has no qualms? That's a little bit strong. There's no, there's no evidence that she didn't wrestle with it. Right. Well, so she made no attempt to conceal her pregnancy. When she was pregnant, but she might have had qualms, and she decided to go for it. I remember Sean's great. God forbid that I'm not criticizing him. If he was here, he would say, "Yeah, maybe the word qualms is too strong." So yeah. I'm sure he'd be the first to encourage analysis of that word. So she covered her face, so he couldn't see her and recognize her. And her rabbis say, when she covered her face, that means she was so modest. When she lived in her father-in-law's house, she was so modest, so he didn't even know what she looked like. So he didn't suspect her. I don't know. What? Who? Tamar and Judah. Yeah, and the rabbis say that this was the only time that they actually were together. Hey, good afternoon, Mordechai and Aviva. Good schmack to see you. Yoav, no. Get right over here, Yoav, please. No, Yoav, right here. Let's go. You're a Kohen. We don't isolate the Kohanim. Please, Yoav, come right in. Ilan, you didn't tell your brother the ropes? Okay, fine. So, Mordechai and Aviva, welcome back from where were you guys? No, which country? You went to Mexico, we were partners, and now we're fighting with them. Okay, so the rabbi said, okay, so therefore he didn't suspect her. So he turned off the road to her, Vayomer, and he says, let me be with you. He didn't realize he didn't realize she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, Mati Tenli She said, what are you going to give to me? Okay. So Vayomer Anochi Shalach Kadiya Ziminetzo. And he said, I'm going to send you a goat from the sheep. Vatomer Imtiteni Ravonat Shachach. Give me a guarantee. Now, we're learning about this in the Daf Yomi today about the concept of a guarantee. Judah is the one who becomes, it's so ironic here, because this might be the lowest point of Judah. Judah is here giving a guarantee to a harlot, but later on he redeems himself when he's the guarantor for Benjamin. So it's the irony here is he gives over the guarantee, but he redeems himself when he becomes the guarantor. And what's his guarantor to the harlot? He says, what's the guarantor? And she said, she says, give me your chosam, your ring, pesilecha, your cloak, and your staff that's in your hand. And he gave it to her, and he was with her, and he conceived. Rashi. So I want to talk about that for a moment. No, the usual payment is a goat. He didn't have the goat, so he gave this as a collateral. But I want to first read the Rashi, and then I want to talk about this. It says, give the ring, the chosamach is, Rashi says that the tabachet ha-chosimah, the ring with which you seal, and the pesil is the simlat chashatamiskataba, your garment. Vataro, she conceived by him, mighty ones like him and righteous ones like him. That's what the Midrash says. But to my mind, this is what's going on here in this symbolic statement, such a powerful statement. This man, Judah, is at the lowest point of his life right now. His brothers have kicked him out. His wife has died. He's stopping at the crossroads like a peasant to be with a prostitute. And the prostitute says to him, give me a goat. He says, I don't have it. She says, give me security. And what does he want as security? Your sign, your garment, your cloak, and your staff. Who's Judah? Judah is the king. It says he's giving up, he's abdicating his role as the king. He's giving up his signet ring. This is the king's identity. He's giving up his signet ring, the king's special garment. In the Bible, the garment is Joseph gets the garment. That's a sign that he's ready for royalty. Pharaoh gives Joseph this garment. He's not just giving a garment and a ring and a staff. He's giving the signs that make him the king. This is why Judah is the king. He has these special things. He gave it away for some moments with a prostitute. This is what he's given up. He has reached the lowest point of his life. He's given away everything that makes him who he is at this point, and he has nothing. He has nothing. She doesn't even trust him about a goat. You need to give a security for a goat. What do you give a security for? You give a security for a house. You give a security for for a loan on a significance of a goat. That's a $5. How much does a goat cost? $25? It's a nothing. 2 zoos. My father bought a goat for 2 zoos, right? It's a shawarma. You don't need a security for a shawarma. You don't. Okay, I'm going to give you a shawarma. Okay, give me a security. What? It's a shawarma. Okay, come back later. I'm paying for it.
It's not like 10 short.
Okay, fine. 10 shawarmas. Not even. No way. No way. Not 10 shawarmas. It's a baby goat. It's a baby goat. It's a shawarma. So it's just, okay, fine. Maybe. Yes, Aviva. No, the goat's not the collateral. The goat's the payment. Right. It's exactly the point. The point was he was ready to give up. He gave up everything that made him his identity. He gave up his identity. He gave up his identity. Well, she's going to use it obviously to make her point. But but to my mind, this is the point of this that he's giving up the sign. He's giving up the kingdom. Oh, you know who else gave up the kingdom? Who else gave up? He's almost like at this point like Esav, because Esav also abandoned his birthright. He abandoned his responsibility. And that's what Judah doing at this point. Jerry, are you trying to say something?
Yes. Another interpretation, different from Rashi, is that this signet was a round cylinder, and the cord went through the center of this round cylinder, and it was a necklace on around the neck of Judah. In other words, he carried his signature with him all the time.
And he gave it up, his necklace. That's a different explanation. Okay, very nice. Who gives that explanation?
A footnote here.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. Very nice. But okay, very nice. Thank you for enhancing our study with that explanation. Okay, and she got up and she went and he removed the veil from her head. He removed the veil from on top of her. And she got up, she removed her veil, and she got dressed up like a widow. And we mentioned this morning that this is Messianic chapter, and that's the way the coming of the Messiah will work. There'll be steps forward and steps backward, steps forward and backward. Vayishlach Yehuda es kedei ha'izim b'yad re'ehu adu amila kachat ha'revon b'yad isha v'lo matzah. And so Judah sent the goat with his friend, the Duamite. Oh, I'll tell you something here, by the way. I'll tell you a beautiful pshat we said today. To take the guarantee from the woman, and he couldn't find her. But says, so who's Judah's friend? This is the first time a friend appears in the Bible. Hey, come on in. So this is the first time. Hey. This is the first time. Wow, beautiful to see. This is the first time the friend appears in the Bible, and this friend, what's he doing? Hello, Noam. So what's the friend doing? He's doing some, let's just say he's like his bag man. He's doing some bad stuff for him. He's carrying around the money to pay off the harlot. So Simcha Mibunim says everybody needs a friend who they can reveal themselves to. They can reveal their secrets and their sins to, and in order to improve spiritually. So Judah had a friend to do this for him. Vayishalas Anshe Mikoma, and he asked the men of the place, Ayeya Kadesha. So Kadesha, the word Kadosh means holy, but it also means a prostitute, because what Kadesha means is something that's set aside and designated for a specific use. So she was set aside for harlotry. And they say, where is this harlot who was on the road? And he said they couldn't find her. Well, Matzah. They said there was nobody here. So said Vayeishev Yehuda, and so he returns to Judah. Vayomer lo matzati, I can't find her. Gaman sheyamakom amru lo ha'isa b'zeh. They say there was nobody here. Vayomer Yehuda tikachla penni alavuz. So Judah said, this is a strange expression. Tikachla means, Rashi says, let her keep whatever she has. Let her keep whatever she has. That meaning the sign, the signet ring, the signal. Let her keep it. Penny elavuz, because if you're going to keep looking for her, it's going to become a disgrace. The Rashi says the matter will become publicized via Gnai, od. What else am I to do? Meaning, say, I looked for her, but if I'm going to keep looking, where's the prostitute? Then it's obviously going to be a disgrace for Judah. So Rashi says, and then he says, behold, I sent her this goat, and you can't find her. And Rashi points out, Rashi, above all, is basically an incredible literary critic. Hello, Rabbi Eliezer. Rashi says, why was Judah tricked in this way with the goat? Because he tricked his father with a young goat. He had dipped a tunic of Joseph in blood, so he was deceived. This is the poetry. He tricked his father with a goat. And also, why was Jacob tricked with a goat? Because he tricked his father with a goat. So it's all the cycle of the next generation tricking the earlier generation with the goat. And okay, you know what? We have to stop here at Daven Mincha, but I want to say before we stop, I know some of you guys, Elon, you come the whole day and you're working out.